Okay, so when the Civil War begins in 1861, there are three types of states in the United States, let alone there are plenty of territories out here that they don't have enough people to be considered states yet. There are people living out there, but they're just not officially states in the Union. So, again, three types of states. The blue states that you see here before you, these are in the Union. They are still considered the United States of America. They're the North, even though you have some states out here in the West, and then the Kansas Territory. They're going to become a state very soon, but technically, at the start of the war, they're still a territory. But anyway, you've got the Union here in blue. In red, you have these states. They are considered border states, and then you have down here in gray. All right. So at the start of the Civil War, you have three types of states. Let alone you've got all of this land out here that it's all United States territory, but they're not states yet. There are people living there, just not enough to achieve statehood yet. They're coming, not quite yet though. So the blue states here, these are your Union states. They are still considered the United States of America. It's the North, even though Kansas is kind of in the Midwest and it's not even a state yet at the start of the war. It's just a territory. And then Oregon and California out here are in the West. They're not but anyway, these are the Union states right here in blue. You keep going, and then you've got the red states right here of Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. They are border states. And then the third type of state, that's the Confederate States. These states down here are the ones that have seceded from the Union. They have left the United States of America to form their own country, the Confederate States of America. Slavery is allowed here, and they're the ones that are fighting for independence. They are fighting to keep their way of life, for states' rights, for the right to own slaves, all of that stuff. But the real question and the point of this video is what makes a border state a border state? I mean, is it really just the states that separate the North from the South? I mean, what does that mean? Because I mean, really, you could get into what why is Kansas one, or why isn't Kansas one? I'm sorry. Like, what about Oklahoma? All that stuff. Really, what makes a border state is that they have slaves and they are still part of the Union. They are still part of the United States of America. So technically, they could be colored blue because they're still part of the United States. But because they have slaves and slavery is allowed in Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, they're considered border states. And for many different reasons,